So let's dive into creating the right space, the right headspace for writing. Where's your head at? So one of the things you really need to do at this point is to create some space for yourself to become a better writer. Writing in a hurry, when you're feeling overwhelmed or pissed off, can be felt by your reader in your choice of words, in your phrases, and the sort of garbled messaging that can come through. I want you to protect your writing practice and build joyfulness into it. Light a candle, create a writing playlist to chime in with the feeling you're trying to impart. I do this all of the time with all of my projects on your audience, and make this fun. It gets to be fun. Be aware of the stories that you tell yourself and the hang-ups that you have about writing for your business. We get lots of mind gremlins pop up when it comes to starting to write for our business. We're going to talk about those in a minute as well. And I want you to tap into the energy of who you want to be and how you want to show up in your business for your ideal clients, and channel that for maximum magnetism.
I really love that. And I really love that, like stepping into your best self, no matter, not just when you're working with your clients, but when you're creating copy, when you're writing for your business, because you're doing that for your clients, and like holding yourself to your best possible standards in that while we're doing it, rather than, oh God, I have to write this thing. Like that's going to come across.
Yeah. The best messaging is when you're really at that high vibe, you've got your best music on and you're just really loving what you're doing. It comes through every time. So who do you want to be and how do you want to show up in your business?
There we go. We've got, if you want to pause us now and get your workbook out, or if you're just doing this in a notepad, please feel free to pause us now and answer this question. Like really step into, who is it I want to be? How do I want to show up? What do I want my business? How do I want to make people feel? And in the workbook, we do have some prompts around this as well to help you answer this, which might feel like a bit of a vague, ambiguous question, but to really step into, who am I being as a business owner when I'm going to sit down to write?
What stories or beliefs do you have about writing or your ability to write?
So we'd love you again to pause us at this point and to just get really honest with yourself and write out any of the things that hold you back about writing, whatever it is, whether it's about yourself, whether it's about other people going to read it, whether they're going to find it, whether they're going to hate you, whether they're going to be judged, whether you're going to get it wrong. All of those are valid. Put them down on a piece of paper, write as many as you feel are stuck in there in your head. And what we're then going to do when you unpause us is have a look at how we can deal with those.
So some of these gremlins that we see a lot of, we're going to tackle right now. We hear, I'm no good at writing. Who am I to be writing anyway? Who wants to hear what I have to say? And I want you to know that you are an innate storyteller. This is how our civilization has been formed. That's what we do as humans, is we share stories. It used to be around campfires, now it's in the digital realm. It's not really that different. You're here right now because you're determined to get better at doing this through your writing. And we want you to know that you're not alone. When it comes to who am I to be writing anyway, you are a wellness professional with a truckload of wisdom to share. And writing is how you're going to reach and help more people. And when it comes to that nasty one of who wants to hear what I have to say, well, those people who you lie awake at night worrying about, who are struggling with stuff, that they don't have to be. That's who wants and needs to hear what you have to say.
Which is why we'll come on to who are those people, but it's really, really important that we don't lose track of, we are doing this for someone, those people that really need your help. And that even if it feels like everybody else is doing the same thing or saying the same thing, nobody's doing it in the way you are. And that's what we really want to help you cultivate, is that knowledge and belief and ability to say it in a different way, to say it in your way, rather than blending in with everybody else, or not saying it at all because you think there's already someone else that's better than you.
Absolutely. And now, Vicky, this was a really cool trick that you were going to share now.
So this came about, for anyone that's read my book, was a way that I was trying to help people look at some of these gremlins, those little nasty voice, that inner critic that's in your head. I haven't said negative, I've said unhelpful, because they're not necessarily negative things that we say. Sometimes they're quite, well, all things that are unhelpful are quite, serve us and protect us in some way. It's that inner critic voice is, if we show it some compassion, is just trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us small, make sure we don't, stick our head above the parapet and get cut off from the tribe, from the rest of the cavemen. But it's not helpful in this day and age, and it's not helpful if we're trying to create a business and put writing and words out there. So some of these things are unhelpful. And what I talked about in the book was, sometimes it's quite a big leap to move then into, right, I'm just going to flip that and say the complete opposite. And I'm a big believer that we have to believe it, or we have to be invested in it. We have to be somewhere on that journey with it. We can absolutely keep saying things to ourselves that we don't quite yet believe, in the hope that it will start to sink in. But one of the ways that I think we can move through this a bit more gradually is to neutralize the statement and just stop saying the unhelpful thing. Just neutralize it. Just say something neutral, just factual, and then actually move it into, now I've neutralized it and I've stopped, or I've saying a lot less the unhelpful thing, can I actually start inserting something that's a lot more helpful and a lot more uplifting? So I've taken a few of those examples. So I'm no good at writing, for example. I'm sure they've got lots of people on this course that will say that and think that, like, I'm no good at writing. So neutrality on that is, I can write. Absolutely, every single person here has the capability of writing. We all know the English language. We might not feel like we know it brilliantly, but we can write. We are capable of putting a sentence, a paragraph, a page together of writing. So that is a neutral fact. Doesn't mean you're good or bad at it. You write. You're someone that writes. You can write. And then if we can let go of, because we're neutralizing it, the I'm no good at it, what we ideally is wanting is for you to move into, I'm a good writer, I'm a capable writer, I'm a confident writer, I'm someone that writes and can convey my message. More helpful things that come in there. Another example, no one wants to read what I have to say. So again, I've turned these, like I'm always looking for is the statement. Like if you were to distill it down into a statement, something you're saying, a kind of fact or a truth that you're hanging on to, a belief. No one wants to read what I have to say. Neutralizing that would be something like, people will read this. Someone will read this. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be till next year, but someone's going to read this because I'm going to put it out on the internet, or I'm going to put it out on social media, or I'm going to put it out into the world, out of my digital dusty drawer, and I'm going to put it out there. So people will read this, and just sitting with the sometimes discomfort of that, but just being, that's a fact. That's a neutral fact. It doesn't mean your writing was good or bad. It just means people are going to read it. And then ideally moving more into that helpful idea of like, my ideal customers need and love what I have to say, so that we're actually feeling more positive and more uplifted about it. Another example then, I'm not an expert enough to write. I feel like a lot of people in this industry in particular, like, I haven't got enough expertise, or I haven't got a PhD in it. I'm not good enough. I need to learn more if I'm to write a blog or to write, create something about this. So neutralizing that. I know many things that others do not, or I know some things that other people do not, or just I am qualified. I am a qualified nutritional therapist. I am a qualified Pilates instructor, whatever it is, I am qualified. And then moving it more, ideally, once we've kind of neutralized it into that helpful way of, I am more than qualified to help people. I have more than enough that is going to help people. So what we would love you to do is take that page that you just created, those stories, those beliefs, all of those inner critic, unhelpful things, and use the framework that I've just given you. Feel free to skip back to it if you want to have a look at some of the examples, to turn them into some neutral or positive affirmations for yourself, and try and just latch onto the ones that really feel like something you can get behind. You can start saying to yourself when you hear those negative ones, that you just go, not saying that anymore. We're inserting this. And maybe you can program them to pop up on your phone, or you can put them on the desktop background, or maybe at the top of the document you're writing, just something that you are going to be saying instead of all that negative stuff. So get your workbook out, get your notebook out, and give us some neutral or positive affirmations for your writing and how you feel about it.